I don't know if you've seen this, but the Z9 has been on YouTube a lot. It seems a lot of content creators have picked up the camera or either have gotten it on loan from Nikon to try out. I think this is the beginning of something new from Nikon. So I want to start a conversation about my thoughts on what's coming next. I'm going to discuss the Z9, Nikon cameras, the competition, and what I think we can expect in the future from Nikon. So let's get started. Over the past few weeks, I've seen a number of YouTubers that don't normally shoot Nikon or haven't really talked about Nikon talking about the Z9. They've got the Z9 either from Nikon on loan or from a friend. Some people, one or two people I've seen actually had bought it because they like the specs in it and are actually using it. So I've been surprised that there have been so many Z9 videos. And the camera's been out about a year and a half, two now. I mean, as far as when you can actually get it, that is. And the videos came out when people are getting them in their hands, mostly Nikon shooters. But as you look around YouTube, you don't hear too many people are saying, hey, Nikon is great. The younger generation is, Nikon is trash. Who cares about Nikon? They don't do it good. They don't give you anything good. And while most people those people I should say, are not Nikon users, I think back to the old days when we use manual cameras. A lot of times people are like, hey, the old days is gone, so and so. I get it. You don't want to hear about that. But Nikon has a history. Nikon came from someplace. Nikon was one of the top camera brands in the old days, as they would say. And they've been known to give great image quality, and the ergonomics are great, and the machines, the cameras, they just perform wonderfully. So for those of us who are coming from that era and have known what Nikon stands for, yeah, it may rub us a little bit that, people thinking that Nikon can't do anything. But we know that that's not the case. Yes, Sony's been doing great, Canon's been doing great, and I credit that. And I say great, let me specify, in the video realm, because all cameras nowadays are pretty much really good in what they do. But from a video standpoint, Sony being a consumer company, making cameras and cinema cameras, Canon also making camcorders and so on, they had the technology in-house to move faster to mirrorless. Nikon, took them a little while to kind of get there. Z6 and Z7 on their initial release, I guess you can consider those mid-range cameras, because really the competition is now the A7 IV and the Canon R6. But the Z9, their flagship camera, that just threw the gauntlet down when it came out. And because most people can't afford that camera, and I say most people, let's talk about the younger YouTubers or the big influencers that are out there, they can afford it, but the other people that are looking for cameras, they're looking for more of the video features. Nikon at that price point isn't something that they're looking at. The Z9 is just next level. You want your Z5, Z6, Z7 price point for most people, and Nikon doesn't have anything there that really competes at the level that these younger generations are used to. Old school, split prism. You guys know what I'm talking about. Manual focus. To get that thing in focus, you gotta twist that wheel, line things up, and that was actually an optional feature. Most of the time, you just had your regular thing, you focus and it's good. The split prism gives you that finer detail. Today, you point the camera, it picks it up, you're good to go. It grabs the subject, and you set it down. Now, even today, with the newest cameras and the newest features, unless you set them up correctly, you can still have some instances where the autofocus doesn't work as well as you expected it to work or you wanted it to work. The camera doesn't read your mind. It needs to know what you want to do, and you have to set it up to work the way you want it to work in order for it to do a good job. When I think about the Z9, I wanted to pick one up when I first saw the development announcement and what it was going to come with. 8K recording. Now most people don't do 8K recording, but When we hear about the R5 from Canon that did 8K recording, and I think after 30 minutes or so it would overheat, Nikon says 2 hours plus, 8K, raw, internally, no overheating. Really? That's big. So when you think about the codecs that they give you right now, most of these guys that are doing cinema cameras, there's a fan on it because they don't want it to overheat. You can do up to 8K with no fan and no overheating for 2 hours. That's huge. So is the camera. The Nikon Z9 is a massive camera. It's heavy. But realistically speaking, the C70, the R3, you know, those cameras are, well, they're not flagship really, but they're video cameras. And the Nikon doing the 8K internally, ProRes RAW and RAW, it's just next level. Rumors are abound on the Z8 being that step down from the Nikon. The Z7 III and the Z6 III should be coming. We don't know what that is just yet. The specs are saying one thing. We're still waiting to see what the real thing is, because, you know, rumors are rumors. Until you actually have the camera, it's just a rumor. But they do look like some good information that likely next month, April, we should see one of these cameras come out. I think the reason why Nikon is getting the cameras out to people who are not Nikon shooters to use is to give them the opportunity to see what the camera can do as a pretext to the Z8 and Z6, Z7 when they come out. So people are, you know, getting Nikon in the conversation again. When you look at YouTube comments and different people's channels, you know, Nikon gets the beat down big time. Nikon's like, with an has-been, they're gonna fail, so on and so forth. Fanboyism, it's big, it's everywhere. But some people go to the next level with it. We also, competition is great, but then at some point, I don't understand why some people just wanna like pound, Nikon is no good, and so on and so forth. And a lot of times these people have never used the camera. For me, like going to Sony, it's not that I didn't like the brand or anything of that nature. Years ago, I remember that I picked up a Sony camera and I looked at the price and I was like, heck no, this is too much money for this camera. I mean, they were just starting out, they bought up another camera company, they're coming out. They're not known in the camera space. About 2 years ago, I think it was, 2021. When I was getting the Z6 II, I picked up the A7 IV again because, you know, I wanted something smaller, something lighter to travel with, and it just didn't fit well with me. So why in 2022 did I get a Sony camera? Well, this FX30 turned out to be a pretty good video camera. I was looking for something that's lighter and can do video. And actually this kind of setup right here with the 15 1.4 is pretty light. If I want to do some vlogging in front of my face, it's cool. So on the ergonomics for the cameras, I really don't like it. The grip doesn't work well for me. So I knew going in that I would probably have some challenges. So when I got this, I did not sell the Z6. I held on to it hoping that the Z8 would come out and that I would have an opportunity to trade up. Yep, didn't happen. So what did I do? I learned how to use this camera. You know, the buttons are here on the top for the control, the recording button and the directional controller right up top here. So I've learned how to hold the camera this way, hit the record and do whatever I need to do. You flip the screen out and you can work on it. I didn't realize that I wouldn't like the flip out screen as much. It's great for when you're recording yourself, but you're kind of looking off to the side when you utilize it. And I remember I've seen some people say they don't want to flip out screen on the camera because it's not that great. Having one now, I understand why you say that. From a photography standpoint, when you're looking down the viewfinder, you're seeing pretty much straight out what's ahead of you. You're looking off to the side when you are filming and if you're shooting a photo. So it's kind of weird. The camera I'm recording with right now is the A7R5. and that camera allows you to pull the screen away and tilt it up much like the Z6 does, but it also allows you to flip it out when you need it. And for me, that's great, and I think that was a big missed opportunity for this camera. But for now, it works for me. This is what I need to use to do my work right now as a YouTuber that's traveling around taking videos. So that's the main reason why I let my Z6 go. And that was after I got this camera that I decided, yep, it's working well, it looks good enough, I'll do it. This still is the main walk around video camera. This one is kind of going to be doing duty as photo shoots, well, when I'm shooting photos, and when I want to do like a static setup like this, it works fine. Now, will I not go back to Nikon? No, I still like Nikon cameras. I did a lot of research before I got into this thing and realized that I could adapt these lenses to my Nikon camera. So if that can come out with something good, I'm gonna go back there. But that's me. I don't know what anyone else is doing, but just thinking about what other people who are out there looking for a good quality camera, something that's really good, what do they like? Sony seems to be one of the big games. People want to run away from Canon right now because of their lens issue. You know, while I'm using the Sony cameras, there are a couple things that I find that I'm not really that a fan of. And I remember going to the manual and they talk about, you know, the weather sealing, and I don't know if they can see this very well, but the ports here, the little door, it doesn't seal as solidly as I would have expected, you know, from something that's been weather sealed. The A7R5 does a bit better, but the Nikon, it's a rubber thing, and when you put it in there, you got to put a little force and you know it's sealed. I've not had any issues with my Nikon. I have shot photos in the rain, not pouring rain, but you know, enough that I could say if it got wet, I wouldn't have to worry about it, but I have to be concerned. It's like the other day I was out in a park and it started to drizzle, and I was running for cover because I didn't have the microphone on the camera and I didn't have the cover for the multi-interface shoe. And of course, if water gets in there, that could be an issue. There was a YouTuber who posted that some water got in his and he had some issues with it, so I don't want to have to go through that. The camera is only a couple months old. I would hate to know that I've ruined it because I'm in rain. But in the Nikon, I never have to worry about that. I just use it, you know, it's weather sealed. It's just like awesome stuff. So, yeah. What's Nikon going to give us? Well, you know, and when? I know CP Plus is happening in Japan. I think it just started a few days ago, but it runs until the end of the month. So there's a couple weeks. People are saying that maybe we will see something, some kind of announcement. I really hope they do that because we've been waiting all last year for an announcement and we haven't gotten anything. I think it's probably going to happen. Reason being, there are just too many people right now that are not Nikon and they're talking Z9 and they really see what the Z9 can do. And granted, this is some new added features since firmware 3.0 and 3.1 that these guys look at this camera and going, oh my goodness, this thing is doing really great. You know, I want to pick one up. That makes me think the Z876, whatever comes first, whatever comes next, maybe all three of them will get released, who knows, are going to blow us away. This is why Nikon is basically parading out this camera to kind of get themselves back in the conversation so people can, you know, see that, hey, we're doing some stuff, we're doing great stuff, hold up, we're gonna bring you the goods, just hang in there. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I'm curious to hear what other people are thinking about this stuff. You're probably like me, you've seen some of these videos in the Z9 if you are a Nikon shooter, or if you're not a Nikon shooter and one of your favorite YouTubers finally pop this camera out there and you're like, wow, didn't know this thing can do it. Because you're not in the Nikon space, you probably have never checked out their website to see what they have and what they can do. But I tell you this, Nikon makes some great stuff, and I think some great stuff are coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm really, really excited. You know, people ask me, would I sell this camera and get it? If it's on par or even better, and you know, weight is a concern because that's the reason why I got these again, then yeah, I probably will jump back into the Nikon space much sooner than I expected. But that's yet to be seen. We don't know what we're really going to get. But if they do like what Panasonic did, and it's like knocking out the park with stability and autofocus, you have me. The Z6 was a pretty good weight. It was about maybe a little bit lighter than this. I know it's definitely lighter than the A7 Mark V. So yeah, I would keep the Sony lenses because they're smaller and more compact and lighter. So I would adapt them to the Nikon and keep trucking. Alright, I'm gonna wrap the video. Let me know what you think about Nikon and what they're doing. Do you think they're gonna come out with something in the next coming weeks? Do you think that camera is gonna come out by April? Are you waiting for one? Have you sold your Nikon? Well, let's start a conversation about all this. I want to hear what you guys are thinking and what your plans are for the next Nikon cameras that are coming. Alright, take care. Have a good one.